Hello, this is Sean. I'm doing a Let's Play video of Endless Space. Previously I've done some videos for Fallen Enchantress, but that game hasn't quite finished yet, and this one's out, so I thought I would do a little tutorial for people that want to get into the game but don't really understand the mechanics. So the first thing to look at is the settings screen, main settings. I'm going to play on hard difficulty, and there's a couple of basic options like the shape of the galaxy. I find that the disk galaxy is probably one of the most balanced galaxies because it doesn't generally give anyone the short end of the stick, whereas like a spiral or some of the other options are sort of unfair for certain players, and if you get stuck with the crap planets, then you're kind of screwed. You have to just restart, which isn't really an option if you're going to do multiplayer. Galaxy size. See, if you go anything above medium, you're going to get a negative modifier for expansion size. So, certainly if you are just starting the game, a massive largest galaxy you can imagine is best because no one will want to invade you. And you can sort of get a larger empire, which is easier on your economy skills. But I'm pretty adept at the economic system now, so I play on medium, and that means that I'm going to have to expand to win, and that usually means going through wars. Age of the galaxy, I mean, it depends how much you know about science, but to me it's pretty basic. Young galaxy is hot, and old galaxy is cold, and normal galaxy is sort of a mix of both. And I'll try to explain how that works with the different suns and planets. I'm going to play with 8 other empires. So let's look at the empire that I choose first, though. One of the coolest things about this game is they've got some really unique empires. Like you have the United Empire, which is your basic capitalist corporation running the planet's sort of system, which is probably what we're headed towards. You've got the Cravers, which are your sort of like a bug race that I guess the best description of them would be the aliens from Independence Day, which is kind of nice to have those analogs, but they're like an insectoid that just sort of like eats up the planets as it goes along. The Sophons, which is what I'll probably choose most of the time, is your technology-based race. They're weak, but they're very smart. They've got some pretty fast ships, but they're not going to be great in a long-term war. They're sort of a peaceful race. There's the Horatio, or the Coneheads, as you might recognize them from the old 90s movie. They're a great sort of warlike race. They have a large zone of influence around their planets, which is sort of advantageous during Cold Wars. But they don't really have the economy, I don't think, to keep up with some of the other factions. Then there's the Hisho, which are your the most warlike race. They're really great at battle, although they go to more wars. And in this game, wars, you have to make a choice between going to war and having a good economy. So if you're not winning your wars, you're going to really get left behind. Then there's the Sowers, which are one of my favorites. They can colonize any planet from the beginning, and if you played like Galactic Civilizations or some of the other 4X games, you know that certain types of planets are too harsh for most people to colonize, but these guys can colonize every type in the beginning with only a slight negative, or a slight penalty, I would say, for some of those things, which they can then negate through technology. But for the early land grab, they're probably the best race. Then there's the Amoeba, which are kind of, you know, they're like a sort of, I think they're a giant bacteria, basically. So yeah, I mean, they're actually, there's kind of a problem with this race. They get to see the whole map at the beginning, and in this kind of game, it kind of gives them an unfair advantage over everybody. And then they get so much science and money from their trade routes that they just shoot so much far ahead of all the other factions. They're kind of overpowered and unfair. So I think there's probably going to be some work done on nerfing them soon. Then there's the Pilgrims. These are like sort of like the good guy humans that everyone wants to believe will happen in the future, but we all know won't. They have some interesting abilities, but I haven't really played them much because it's sort of like they have some uninteresting, like their affinity allows you to evacuate a star system, which I would never want to do because I want to keep every star system possible. And then you can make custom factions, which are a lot of fun. This is sort of a variation of the United Empire called the Sith Empire. They have some super strong ships and a really strong economy and morale. So basically they're going to be great for having a great economy and affording a large military. The Time Lords is the one that I'll choose today. These guys are another race that I created. They're basically the best scientists you can imagine. They get plus 30% science on every system, plus 20% dust, which is basically gold, on every system. Crowded planets, so they get a little extra space to boost their economy even further. But then they have terrible heroes, a morale boost, and basically I just sort of like nerfed their heroes a whole bunch so that their economy could be super good. So that's who I will choose. So for the other factions, let's make sure we have one of each, so I can sort of explain how they function. Oh, I don't know if I want to add Namibia to the game though, because they're kind of overpowered. So we've got Sowers, Craver. We'll do Pilgrims as well. Under Advanced Options, you have the different victory types. I like to turn off the Diplomatic Victory. Basically, that victory is whoever's been at peace the longest after all the alliances have been made. Whoever can stay at peace for a very, very long time will win by diplomacy. You'd think that it would be like you to see in other games where you make alliances, and if your alliance is the last civilizations left at the after the wars are over, then your civilization wins, but they actually don't have a victory type like that. So the other victory types are score victory. If you reach, I think it's like 500 turns, the person with the highest score wins. Supremacy is capturing all of the capitals from each civilization is a win. Wonder victory is you create a system improvement on 5 different planets that gives you a victory. Scientific, your standard research the science to win. Economic, you gain a certain amount greater dust accumulation than everyone else in the galaxy, and you basically buy your victory, which is an interesting choice because if someone else is also racing for an economic victory, you actually slow each other down, because I think it's you have to have a percentage of the overall wealth, which is kind of a cool alternate way to play the game. Expansion victory is just to have 75% of the galaxy under your control. And then there's another cool thing you can do, random galaxy generation seed. So if you look up what your seed is from a map and you really like that map, you could replay it later on if you write the galaxy seed down. You can just type it in right here and it'll generate that galaxy for you. And then for multiplayer, there's an in-turn timer, which I turn off because I'm never in a hurry. I think that if you're going to play a 4X game with another player, you need to give them as much time as they need to play the game. It's not quite the same as chess, it's a lot more complicated. Alright, so let's get started. Now the thing that people have a hard time figuring out in the game is sort of like the user interface is very good, but it's also very large. And there's a lot going on. I think up until last week, I mean, I've been playing this game since the alpha, and up until last week, I truly didn't understand how trade worked, how population growth worked, and like a lot of other basic concepts. And sort of like reading the manual and playing some multiplayer sort of helped me through it because other people knew. Or I just sort of figured stuff out eventually. Okay, so here is the basic sort of game interface. You see my home planet in the system, or my home system with its planets. There's a white dwarf over here, a yellow sun here, a red supergiant here, and a red dwarf here. What's kind of nice is they allow you to read the descriptions of those, and you can kind of tell what planets you might find there based on the descriptions. So I will send my investigator, that's my scout ship, to Sylphie. And now I can sort of see what kind of planets are on Sylphie. Alright. And then if you want, you can zoom in, and there's actually got some nice detail on each planet. For example, this planet is irradiated, and if you look on here, it has an irradiated effect placed on the planet, so that you can sort of tell the difference between an irradiated planet and a regular planet. It's kind of cool. And if this one's, say, mineral rich, it'll have little pock marks, I think, on the surface of the asteroid to let you know that. Alright, so that's a pretty good system. But let's look at my beginning system. So, for people that are just starting the game, right here is where you look at the different buildings you can build, different ships you can build. Here are your list of planets. You start out with one good planet, a Terran planet. For lack of a better word, they call them Terran planets. This is one of the best planet types you can get. Lava planets have lots of good production, but they can't do much else for you until later in the game. Asteroids give you a lot of good production, dust, and science, but there's a huge negative modifier for your morale. And basically the way the game is set up is you colonize your first planet, and good planets don't hurt your morale. But colonizing these sort of crappy planets that no one wants to live on, like, destroys your morale. So you have to be careful not to over-colonize, because your approval rating, which is shown right here, and gives you some detail even, is going to go down to 0, and the lower your morale is, the less efficiently your planet functions. Which I think is a great mechanic. It's a great way to tie everything together. Alright, so as you can see right now, my tax rate is at 40%. And then these are what we call FIDs, which is food, industry, science, and dust. So it's not quite perfectly laid out here, but it's FIDS, essentially. So I'm getting 11 dust per turn, and I've got 6, 8, 12, 13. But if I reduce my taxes to, let's say, 25%, you can see my science went up, my food went up, my industry went up, and my dust went down, right? Yes. So, I mean, it's pretty easy to check out the scale and know what's happening. In fact, I think, yeah, 25% is the best. And then right here you can see all the different empire-wide bonuses that you're getting. And if you look, my faction's special ability is to get extra science the lower my taxes are. See, if you look at right here from tax rate, I'm getting 25% science. If I move this all the way down to 0, that increases to 50%. And as I move it up to anything past 50, it'll be 0%. So I want to keep my taxes as low as possible with this faction, whereas other factions you might want to keep it as high as possible. For instance, the United Empire needs a super high tax rate. Alright, so I have a Terran planet. Terran planets produce plenty of food, so I don't need to worry about food so much here. And I only have one planet that I'm really going to want to colonize. So what I think I'll do with this Terran is emphasize production. Production's very important in the beginning because you have to build lots of colony ships. So the other thing is you start with a colony ship and a scout ship to start. So you need to find the best system for you in the beginning and colonize it. This one has irradiated planets and sort of crappy planets that you don't want in the beginning. So I'm going to leave this system alone for now and go on to that system. But also, since I see that there's a yellow sun over here, and as we all know, yellow suns are the best, I'm going to send my colony ship there and hope that works out. So the next part of the game that you need to do is, let's say, check out your research. This is the research tree. The top tree is warfare. Actually, it says right here. The right side is applied sciences. The bottom side is exploration and expansion. And the left side is diplomacy and trading. So basically, this is only going to give you really good things for planetary defense and weapons for your ships. This is going to give you lots of new resources and different things for science and economy. And this area will give you, it'll allow you to colonize new types of planets, to reduce the morale penalty from expansion, and sort of like when you get down into the lower part of the tech tree, you can actually terraform planets into the planet of your choosing. Over here you're going to get things like some food bonuses, trading bonuses, economy bonuses. This is where you increase your fleet size, your maximum fleet size, so that can be equally as important. And in fact, if you're going through this tech tree, you don't need as much of the warfare tree, because having a lot of ships is just as good as having a lot of weapons on each ship. So that's basically what you got to choose, and as you zoom in very close, you can sort of see what each one does. This is your initial economy improvement. This is your initial food improvement, this is your initial production improvement, and this is your initial science improvement. Here you have your initial weapons technologies, and here you have the first two types of planet colonizations you're going to want. So what I do is I choose industry first, and then I sort of, during these 3 turns, I try to scout out how many planets I can colonize right away, and then if I don't have any, then I'll research one of these 2 things to colonize either arid or tundra type planets. The next thing we look at is heroes. Heroes are basically divided into 2 different kinds. There's heroes that manage a system and increase your economy, which is, very good, especially in the beginning. And then there's heroes that are admirals of your fleets and increase the defense and offense capabilities of your fleets, as well as add in some new tactics during fights, which is honestly the most valuable way to use them. But even if you're planning on, like this one is a, let's take a look at him. He is an adventurer and a commander, which are the 2 fighting bonuses, so you know that he's going to be a really good fighter. But I still might choose him now, even though I don't have any military ships, because I can put him on a planet and have him increase the efficiency of the planet, which will slowly level him up, and then later I can give him to a fleet when I have a fleet. But let's see what else I have first. This is a great economy, and actually it's a Sophon, so I'm going to hire him out of prejudice, but I have to do that in 2 turns. And he's going to give me lots of great science and production and food and dust bonuses. And then this is another fighter, so that's actually a pretty good mix. You want at least 1 to manage your first system, and the other 2 generally at some point to switch to admiral roles. So let's end turn. See what happens here. Alright, so now all my fleets have, or my ships have orders. You can call them fleets, but there's only 1 in each. So this button down here will appear to say execute all planned orders. So I execute the order, and they've gone where they've been told. So a medium lava by itself, not going to be very valuable. I'm going to go on to the protostar, and end turn. Alright, turn 3, I can get my first hero set up. So I'm going to click up here, which is the Academy. In the Academy, it'll basically show you which heroes are for hire. I'm going to hire the one for my system. And then, oh, whoops. And then if you click on it here, it'll show you which ones you have. So here, heroes for hire, here, active heroes. So I'll click Assign to System. I only have 1 system right now, and he'll begin improving that system. So now the constellation that I'm in is starting to take shape. I've got a lot of really close planets here, but they're very sort of useless planets. I'm not going to really benefit from these because there's not enough planets in them. You want to have a large number of planets, and you want pretty good planets in them. The 3 greatest planets that you can colonize right away in the game are Terran, obviously, and then there's also Jungle, which is like, you know, a massive jungle planet, and then there is the ocean. There's an oceanic planet, which is, it's mostly water, but with a few small continents, and each one of those is going to be the most valuable thing for you to find. Below that there's arid planets, which are sort of like very dry planets, but not quite desert, still easily colonizable. And then there's tundra, which is sort of the other side of that coin. And those two each have different specific bonuses. Basically, they're like specialized planets, if you want to think of them like that. Like arid planets will give you more dust, and tundra planets will give you sort of a mix between production and science, which can be very valuable. Alright, so I'm having some problems already with colonization, so I'm going to start getting these colonization techs. If I had better planets to start, I wouldn't need these. I could get some other techs like increased science or money, but since I don't have that option, I'm just going to do this. Oh, and now I can build this option, so I'll have some good production in a little bit. Okay, let's hope there's something good here. Nope, I can't really do much here either. I mean, I've got this large tundra, but it's got Kessler syndrome. And if you read this, it's a planet of a lost civilization that has polluted their upper atmosphere with tons of junk metal. And if you look here on the planet, you can see there's all this crap sort of floating around the planet. It makes it very hard to use. So that's something I'm going to have to deal with, but I have to colonize it because there's no reason not to colonize. You always want to try and colonize everything, because any uncolonized planet will start to sort of become harbors for pirates that will then spawn in the game and destroy your civilization rather quickly. Sort of an extra incentive to colonize everything you see. Alright, so hopefully this planet here will be, yes, it's a small Terran planet, which is pretty good. And it has a special resource, which I can, at some point, utilize. That's a little bit later in the game. So now I have Shaddai and Pisces. And I'm going to have this one specialize in food growth. But first, have it build the heavy isotopes generator. And then it'll give you a game event showing you that you've gotten your first colony out. Okay, so now I've got sort of a long haul here. I need to discover the warp drive technology so I can colonize outside of my little constellation here. So the basic game terminology is where you start is your colonization, and this sort of wavy gate lane right here, this is a wormhole, and you can research a special technology to travel through wormholes, which is what I need to do now because I need to colonize outside of my constellation. It's going to take a little bit to get to. It's going to take me 22 turns to get there, and it means that I can't research anything else while I'm doing it. Which is unfortunate, but really the game is just sort of pushing me to expand very quickly. Which, you know, has costs and benefits. If I don't do it, I'm going to be a weak faction throughout the game, and I might get invaded. But if I do go out early, people are going to sort of be offended by my presumptuous expansion, and they're more likely to go to war with me over those planets out there. So, I just need to essentially hope that the planets, these two planets near me, or two systems near me, sorry, are very, very good, or else I'm going to have to keep on going out. Also, this might lead somewhere interesting, I'm not quite sure. You'd think it would be connected to Shaddai, but it's not. Okay, let's, oh, so this right here will show me what was built and what the next thing being built was on all my planets. So I've got my production generator now. And I can't really colonize anything, and I've got no other improvements to build. So I will build the colony ship. I'm going to get lots of colony ships and send those out. Okay, so this is, yeah, another dead end, kind of. 2 deserts, all with Malices, in fact. This is kind of a terrible start. Like, this is one of the worst starts I've ever had in the game. So if you're thinking that, oh man, he's totally screwed, I don't want to play this game, keep in mind that this is a special kind of screwed, reserved for the most elite players in the game. Or at least that's what I'm going to choose to believe. So I think I'll go back to Gemini. And I need to learn desert colonization at some point. Because it seems like all I have here is desert. And the reason that I'm not freaking out about that is I'm a good research faction. So I plan on terraforming a lot of these planets into my choice planet, which would either be Arctic, because Arctic is great for science, or possibly Tundra, which is a mix between science and production. Kind of a great choice, if you think about it. Okay, so now I'm only going to do 11 turns for wormholes. It's not quite as bad. Not at all. Okay, the problem is, I need other text before that to stop the pirates from spawning everywhere. I can at least get Selphie under control. So, there's an Arctic here, Arctic there. Both are irradiated, and this one has Transvine. Man, irradiated really kills this planet, because it makes it so it doesn't produce any food, which means you can't grow at all. And this won't produce food, and this won't produce food, and neither will this, which means there's no food in the system. So whatever I take is probably going to be the only one I get, and I might as well get the resource. Resources get really important later in the game. Luxury resources have special abilities. For instance, Transvine will give me extra XP when I attack people, and Jadonics will give me extra attack on all my ships, as long as I have the monopoly. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Looks like my hero is leveled up. That's something at least. I'm going to choose Wit. Wit, there's 2 system management stats. There's Wit and Labor. Wit will increase your science and dust, while Labor will increase your food and production. And right now, I need dust and science. So that's what I'm choosing. I should probably build something on this planet, since I'm here. It's an Arctic planet, so I'm going to specialize it in science. The 4 specializations here are sort of geared towards certain planet types, and they're really simple decisions, like Arctic planet gets +1 science for this specialization, plus +1 for on any other planet. So it'll get a total of +2 right away from choosing it. So if you look here, it's already got +5 per citizen. Oh no, +4, because it's -1 on this special condition. So that specialization will make it a total of +6. Which is a pretty good amount. If you look at my total science right now, it's 35. It's a significant increase. And then in a mere 7 turns, I can start warping about and find some good systems. The thing that you can't see right now, but I know is happening, is there's tons and tons of basically 7 other civilizations taking tons and tons of systems that are not currently within my grasp, but easily within theirs. And they're going to use those planets to get ahead of me in science. And once you're behind in science, you're pretty much screwed, unless you can take over other planets that are good at science. Which is not something I'll be able to do. Okay, 5 more turns, and then maybe I stand a chance in hell. Makes me miss the Control In button to generate a new map if you get a bad map. That would be a good feature for this game, because you can get really crappy starting positions. Although I do like that it's random. It's a nice sort of randomized balance that they've set up. You don't always get the best systems, but you don't always get the worst either. But if you're a new player, I would suggest scouting around like I did, and if you don't have a great system, just restart, because if you don't know the mechanics that well, you can get pretty far behind very early if you're not careful. I don't even have any moons. Having moons around your planets is also very important. Fortunately, I don't have any. I'm going to continue to build Procreators. So here I've got a Tundra with low gravity. That's pretty valuable. And a Tundra Standard. That's pretty good too. And then a small desert with a molten core is decent as well. Plus I've got a lava, which is always great. So I'll build lots of colony ships and hope for the best. Colony ships also hurt your economy because they take one population from the population in that system. And early in the game, it's really, each population matters a lot more than later in the game. So I'm kind of taking a big gamble by building colony ships without having places to place them right away. But that's what you have to do. You have to gamble. If you get a bad start, you need to play very aggressively to equalize yourself with the rest of the players. Because if you don't play aggressively, then you're not taking a risk, but you know what's going to happen to you. You're going to lose. Everyone's going to be stronger than you, and no one's going to help you. Unless you play with someone who's super nice, and then maybe they'll help you out. But you know, only as so much as they can. Alright, now I can wormhole travel, and I just have to colonize like crazy before any other people get out to do it. So, yeah, I'll take desert colonization and then arid. Ooh, and maybe, actually, no, now what I need is food, money, and morale. I'm gonna just sort of ignore my military and hope that I don't get very many pirates. If I can colonize this... Oh, I need to colonize lava. So, I did that wrong. Once you get the hang of sort of like you recognize this icon and what it does for the game, you can go through these tech things very quickly, like I am. Alright, and then I'll want that as well. Nope, I can't do that yet, so I'm gonna go that, and then I'll take that, and then I will need a military, some science. If you're paying attention, this is the best science rush is going to be this technology, this technology, this technology, and this technology. Because this gives you a huge bonus, plus 40 research per star system, which is about exactly what I'm making now, so that every time I build one of those, I double my science output. It's very powerful early on. Alright. So, that is my strategy there. And I just need to sort of back up that strategy now with getting some really good systems right away. What do we have here? The Xacor system. Small Terran with a Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden is what endless space players dream about at night. It is the best anomaly you can imagine. It's plus 20 morale, plus 2 food per planet, plus 1 industry per planet, plus 1 citizen on planet, plus 1 dust per citizen on planet, and plus 1 science per citizen on planet. Huge bonus. Plus it's got Mercurite, which gives you plus 3 dust per citizen and plus 1 science per citizen. If I get 2 more of those, I will get plus 40 ship XP on Empire. And I think I already have 2. So that's huge. A large Arctic is going to be great for science. A tiny arid is going to be great for dust. Tiny tundra, great for production. I can avoid the barren, and then a small lava will be great for production as well. So basically, the best system I could pretty much hope for. If these planets were larger, that would be better. Or that would be even better. But I'm not going to complain, because I really needed that. Really needed it a lot. Oh, whoops. Okay, I made a mistake on the strategic map that turn. I've got a Procreator here, and I need to move that Procreator out. No. Okay, it's just a scout fleet. So I've met a new civilization, a little pop-up came. You are not alone! Letting me know that. I've met the Pilgrims. Pilgrims are the field mice of the galaxy. They will expand and procreate like nobody's business. They actually procreate so much it becomes my business, and I have to destroy them much of the time. It can get very hectic. Alright, so I'm gonna double down and build even more procreators, because I just need to keep on expanding no matter what. There's no choice but to expand. Okay, Ida, not a great system, just a Baron and some... a Baron, oh, it does have Cyberflora though. But anyways, it's 2 asteroid belts, which are a late game colonization. Okay, so I will send my colony ship there and hope for something good. Got this colony ship here, which will go to Heka. Alright. Things are looking a little bit up now. This Xacor is really going to save my ass. Oh, I found their home planet. What? No, that's not. It's just something they colonized. So another thing you need to learn right away is just because someone has colonized a planet does not mean that they own that planet. If you look in the... actually, I'll show you on one of my planets. Like, for instance, Selfie. If you look in the top left corner under the name, it shows you how many turns it will take to turn this into a proper colony. Right now it's just an outpost. So anyone that is not at war with me, but in a cold war with me, can come by with a military ship and invade this planet without declaring war, because it's not warlike. It's not an active war to take over an outpost, but it is an active war to take over a colony. Sort of the complicated distinctions they make in this game. Alright, so I found an enemy fleet. It's got pretty good attack and defense. Something I need to worry about. So I will take the Terran right away. And they're ecstatic. Very, very happy. Build the isotope generator. Alright. So basically, I'm going to have to take this planet from them. It's a medium Terran with microfactories. Microfactories do plus 20 morale and plus 1 food per citizen on the planet. And a medium has a huge population base, plus it's got a moon on it. So there's just nothing for me to do but take that planet. Which means that I really want a military soon, because it takes forever to invade planets. Alright, so I'm gonna get that, I'll get that. And then I was going up for technology. I might have to retask some of that into military sooner. Okay, so anyways, you're starting to see, I think, how the game might happen, and sort of what you're supposed to do in the beginning. And what I'm doing now will work for any race. I just happen to have chosen a race of my choosing. So I can look here during the battle, see they're using kinetic weapons, which is like a mass driver, and they're using your basic deflector armor. So, that's going to be a problem. If you see a ring around a planet like this, it means that the enemy is blockading that planet, which means that no trade can happen there. Somewhat frustrating. But they haven't invaded yet, so they're probably going to move on. Alright. So I found another planet here, Hamal. Hamal is Arctic, arid, well, lots of arid, and this arid is rich atmosphere, which is extra food. I'm going to start with the extra food. Yes, so I'll click colonize, and get the large arid going right away. So this large arid does +2 food, +2 production, +5 dust, and +1 science per citizen, with a -5 morale penalty. A very valuable system to have. Also, this Hydromel, as soon as I research the technology, is going to get me close to a big food bonus over my entire empire. Alright, so I need to choose one of these deserts. This one has poor soil, this one has acid rain. So this one will do less production, and this one will do no food and no science. Well, I will pick... Oh, but this one has a moon, so I will choose the one with the moon. I'll show you why later. Moons are extremely valuable, but the fact that they're valuable is hidden in the game. Not many people know it. Okay, actually, I might want to retask this to food now. Yes, I will. Terran ocean and jungle planets get a great big bonus for choosing the food specialization. They can colonize here, which would be extra science and production. It's a good choice. So now that I've sort of colonized where I can, I am thinking about increasing my science capability, because science is just the most important thing to this faction. Hands down, the most important. Alright, so desert, once again, will do production and dust. And its opposite is Arctic, which will do science. Pretty much just science. Alright. So I've got a procreator here. And I've got a procreator here. I will move this one here. And as you can see, going through a... oh, no. Pirates have come and destroyed my procreator. There's no hope of defending it. It's gone. And the Kraz system is nothing but a weak lava system. So, I will send a procreator, my colony ship, to Pictor, or Pictor. The Pictor system will be a good cash cow, and a good science place too, actually. So that will help a little bit. Hika is not producing. Alright. Things are starting to look up. I just need lava colonization. And maybe a little more exploration around here. I think I've got yellow sun, and a binary. Those are all probably really good systems. They're just sort of far away from my empire. And you have to be really careful about not overexpanding. Overexpansion will kill. It really sucks that Ita is such a terrible planet. Alright, I've got xenobotany, and now I can get my military techs researched. The scout might destroy my colony ship if it doesn't move along. It could be an issue. Oh, I haven't colonized Gemini yet. And the Cravers have shown up. Oh boy. Okay, Cravers are the scourge of the galaxy. That if they're near Hamal, I'm not going to keep Hamal. Because they're just going to... they're basically... they build warships right away because their economy is good in the beginning and terrible at the end of the game. Actually, their economy is terrible after the 60th turn of the game, pretty much. So that's when their downward spiral occurs, and they need to capture a ton of new planets before then to keep their economy running well. It's a very difficult position to be in. Alright. So I have a few turns until... I get my military tech where I want it to be. And I will use that time to colonize. Ooh, actually, I might build a procreator for one more planet. Yes. Alright, but that's the last one. Anything past that would just be irresponsible. And even, the Pilgrims might even take this before me. They have a pretty powerful expansion technology. Uh-oh. Did you make it? Alright, no, they didn't make it. I was thinking that that was unsafe, but it was probably fine. I think the reason they're keeping a scout here is to prevent me from colonizing that. It's probably a smart idea, because it's exactly what I want to do. Alright, so now we'll look at the ship building system. Here we have one of your stock ships, which is always a little bit weaker than it should be. We'll empty it off all the basic stuff so you can see what I'm going to do here. The first thing you want to get on all sort of smaller ships from the beginning is the high energy couplings module. This will increase your damage by 40%, but at a cost of 20% of your HP. But generally that's worth it because you're going to lose these ships no matter what. You might as well make them fire off powerfully in the beginning. So everyone in the beginning starts out with this deflector shield, which blocks the mass drivers, or kinetic weapons, as they're called here, and deflector defense. So I could build more of these, because these are, as you can see, a higher tier. But the difference is a high isotope slug is going to do a better crit and has pretty good accuracy. But these are no good at long range, and missiles are really great at long range. So you can actually hit someone with missiles in the first phase and destroy their entire fleet before they can have a chance to hit you with any slugs. But as you look right here, there's a requires titanium 70 in red, which means that first of all, that this module would require me to have titanium 70 to build it, and also since it's in red, you know that I don't have titanium. So building that, using that would be useless at this point. My best defense is going to be to get deflectors, because I know they're going to have deflectors. So I'll get about 4 of those, and fill the rest up with, like, I think I have 7 isotope slugs. Well, I'll do 6 isotope slugs and 7 deflectors. Alright, so my attack will be multiplied times 0.4, or it'll be an actual plus 0.4 would happen. So I'm going to be very strong as long as I can survive to like the medium range phase of battle, which I will detail later. Alright. So I made it to Gemini. Large tundra. It's a pretty decent planet, actually. Just need to get rid of the Kessler syndrome. And all of these planets that I've been building up on are going to become ship builders for me, because there's not a lot to do in the beginning, and I might as well build up a ton of powerful ships and try to take over some enemy planets, since my planets are pretty terrible. Small Arctic irradiated, no food. So if you look at this planet, it really isn't going to do much for the Empire until later in the game. So instead of building something new, I'm going to set it to turn 25% of its production capacity into science. And leave it at that. Until later, when I can terraform it. And this one is medium desert. Well, actually, maybe I should revisit this. Yeah, it's only doing 2 production, so it can't even build ships for me. Now we'll look at Zuyan, or Juyan, I think it would be called. Molten core, so good science. Alright, decent production levels. And it will grow in... Oh yeah, this is one thing you can see is, you see population. It shows how many total you can have, 1 out of 5. And this number right here shows you how many turns it will be until it grows again. So I know in 5 turns I'll have 2 population. I think what I'll do here is turn it into a production facility, which will be decent in the early game. So I'll give it the heavy isotope refinery, and then start building ships from there. Alright. So that's their capital right there. The Wii. Alright, now I'm only 13 turns away from my very powerful research improvement. Let's see what's on their main planet. So they start out on a jungle planet, which gives 3 food, 4 production, 2 dust, and 2 science. So basically it gives less food but more production than a Terran planet. Kind of a different choice. If you look at it, I don't know how well you can see it in this video, it's a very cool looking planet, one of my favorites. And as you can see right here, some of their civilization is very visible on the planet itself. Alright, so they're not a very powerful empire, in my opinion. They don't have too much going on for them right now. Of course, I can't see their whole empire, to be fair. Alright, this is my Terran planet. It's going to be getting a lot of population very quickly. I'm going to have them build military ships. Alright, they've already created their fleet. Alright, so here is my other Terran planet. It's got no exploitation. I'm gonna give it the food exploitation. And then it needs to start colonizing very quickly. So tundra is going to be good for production. And then after that arid. And then I'll specialize them once they're colonized. Okay. So my basic strategy now, if you sort of take an overview, Shaddai is going to be my main ship producer. My satellite planets that are not very good are going to be my minor ship producers. And Pisces, which is my probably my best economic system, is going to just totally build its economy up to try and fund the efforts of the other planets and keep my science high. Hamal is sort of my wild card. It's probably going to get taken over soon, but I'm going to try to colonize it anyways. In fact, if I could just keep that planet and maybe... Nope, I just can't do anything with Ida. As much as I want to, I can't. I think I'm going to build a scout ship here. Yeah. And then try and scout some of this other stuff. See how close the Cravers are to me. Alright, so what do I have now? A Procreator. I'm gonna gamble on Pictor. There's probably gonna be a colony there by the time I get there, because going through any wormhole takes exactly all of your ship movement. Which in this particular case is going to be bad later in the game, but good early in the game. You can have longer warp gates, like you can have a wormhole go from here all the way to here, and all that only takes one turn, which is going to be faster than any engine can take you there. Okay, Pisces has the... What was that other planet I was on then? Xacor? Oh, Xacor was this one. Okay. So actually I have 2 planets I'm going to focus towards economy. And this one is going to need some morale boosts very quickly. Alright, so in maybe 2 turns I'll have an outpost on Pictor, and in maybe 6 or 7 turns I'll have a fleet there to protect it, which is a very high risk situation, but the game has forced me to that point. I think that the Pilgrims are generally pretty peaceful. They're not the evil humans that we know and love on Earth. They're the ones that left Earth because they're disgusted by our evil nature. Hoping that that sticks. Alright, so I have 1 military unit finally on Shaddai. I'm gonna... Oh, okay, so right on time. It's usually around turn 30 you see pirates start to enter the game. They start out with your basic kinetic weapons. So what I need to do now is build up a fleet and stop that blockade they have on that system out there. Fortunately, if they just keep on building there, there's nothing really valuable in that area, so I can kind of ignore it for now. And here, I'll have Aaron set up. I need to start the heavy isotope refinery, and that will start fueling my economy. Let's look at my economy. Right now I'm doing plus 14 dust per turn. And normally I would say, yeah, I need to reduce that. But this is enough dust, 235, to get my next hero, which I will specialize in military. Alright, so that plus 14 I'm going to write off as military costs and keep the science and tax levels as they are. So I'll go into my academy, heroes for hire. I have 2 choices. This one is adventurer plus commander, and this one is pilot plus commander. And each one of those options will give me different choices in their traits. And you pick a new trait every time they level up. So I think I'm going to choose the adventurer commander. Let's see, adventurer, let's read the description. Talented for spying, killing, sneaking, and of course stealing. Whereas pilot, great for heroic fighting in space or on the ground. Can make space maneuvers like no other, useful mostly as admirals. So I guess I'll pick Admiral S. Smirov. Alright. Oh, whoops, I did that again. I always think that it's assigned once I click him, but I need to actually assign him to this fleet. So that fleet strength was at 120, and it actually outstayed at 120. So I'll end turn and see if it changes. Let's see. Now it's 154. So it's already increased the, by a percentage it will increase the attack and defense of wherever you have it. No exploitation here. I will give it exploitation. I'll specialize all my deserts in finance, because you want as much dust as possible from these guys. Okay. In 3 turns I'm going to have my heavy research option, which Let's see, my current science is at 103, and that will increase it by 40% for each one I'm able to build. I wish my production was a little bit higher on Shaddai. I might colonize one of the lava planets there at some point soon. Okay, so what options do you have? Savvy business. I think I'm gonna go after Director 1. Yes, okay, that'll give me some good production abilities next time he levels up. So it looks like I have to specialize here. Tundra, I'll go production. Both. So this is going to be a huge growth area for me as soon as I get it set up. It's going to take a little bit longer though. What's cool about these pirates is they won't just sit there and blockade it. Once they become powerful enough, they'll begin to invade the planet, and if they take it over, they don't destroy the colony, they take it over and they become their own race. Planet systems are very dangerous and hard to take back. It's rather enjoyable. Oh, okay. So this is going to be very low growth. It says that it can't produce. Oh, I can't procreate, but it can produce protectors. That's all I really need at this point. Okay, I think my empire is starting to look a little more optimistic now. I was hoping I'd get an easier start so that I could go into more detail, but perhaps this will be more useful to any viewers that I have. Okay, I got the technology I needed. And then these are different luxuries that are now available to me, that I got available from that technology. Let's see what I'm researching now. I went for the PevScale Accelerator, which will unlock a more efficient science specialization. But the truth is, I'm not using the science specialization at all, so I don't need that per se. What do I have queued up next? Ah, yes, more luxuries. Some food, and then morale. I need to focus on the morale section of my economy, and I will also pick up improved fleet management to give me larger fleet capacity. It's going to be important at some point. So these guys are all ready. They can build my first magnetic field generator. First of many, I hope. Then Arid will do economy, and after all that's finished, they will build an accelerator. Hamal has a ship. Ah yes, the scout ship I wanted. Let's hope there's no cravers nearby, but I'm pretty sure there is. They've got such great qualities on that planet. Oh, how many turns until... 17 turns to turn into a full colony. That will take a while. But I do have a larger fleet now. So you can see my fleet strength is 300. The enemy fleet strength, or the pirate enemy fleet strength is 585. They've got 3 ships, I have 2 ships. So I'm going to wait for maybe 4 or 5 ships before I attack. Although I think my technology is slightly better than theirs. One thing I can say for the game is you won't always win rock, paper, scissors. The computer is fairly decent at choosing the right amount of good options versus random options to make it so you can't predict what it's going to do. You can get screwed over quite a few times if you're not careful. So you can see here my technology is really starting to boom. Those tier 1 techs, I got both of them in one turn. quite enjoyable to see. I was worried that I wouldn't have that ability. Alright, Dust Water on Pisces. So now that I've researched that technology, the dust water is now being extracted on this planet, which is giving me +2 food and +1 dust per citizen. And it also gives me +5% XP for all XP gained on the Empire, which means my ships will gain their Veteracy much faster. There's a pretty good level system for ships, or normal ships as well. Alright, I think I've already found, yeah, a Craver's planet. Tiny arid with the hydromel I need. That's unfortunate. I'll try going here. And you can bet, yeah, they're gonna probably try and blockade that / take it very quickly. I wonder if I could turn this into its own military producer. It's got... Actually, yeah, it could build a fleet pretty quickly. And I think I have a good enough economy to afford a second hero. Oh, alright. So let's see, do I have any other things I need to build first? I'll get a magnetic field generator. Oh, I kind of want this to... no, that won't really help me that much. And then after that, I'll start building military ships. Okay. Huh. The pirate noticed that I was building ships, I think, in the system, and has retreated to Pisces. I think I have a strong enough fleet to destroy him now. 462, not quite. I'm gonna try anyways. Hopefully my hero levels up by the time he gets there. Heroes will get small amounts of XP just for being attached to a fleet. So the first level you'll pretty much guarantee in the first 10 turns after purchasing one. Yep, more Cravers. That's unfortunate. If it were any other faction, I wouldn't be as worried. But Cravers are just known for their brutality. Oh, if you look here, there's metallic waters on the planet. It's a pretty good bonus. It's extra production and happiness. I mean, who wouldn't love seeing a metallic lake? Okay, so yeah, they're gonna kill my scout with their scout. In fact, those aren't scouts, those are warships. Unfortunate. But now I know about Nereid. Some good, large, arid planets. And the Eden incense I need. Right. I have that done. One of the things you can usually get over on pirates is they never use any defense. They're all about offense. So they're going to hurt your fleets a lot. But if you have good enough defenses, you can sort of manage the danger. So I got a random event that reduced trade routes. Normally I would go through and read it, but I'll probably cover that sort of thing on a different video. In fact, I think I might wrap this one up soon. It's been a while. This game can make 6 hours seem like 20 minutes if you're really getting into it. But not everyone has 6 hours to watch me play. Nor will they want to, because I think that if you're having trouble with the economy, basically if you do what I've done here, on a general level, you'll start to really pick up your game abilities. Let's see. What else do I need to show people for the... some of the things that you need to do is sort of like go over everything here. You can rename systems. This will show you, I think I already showed you that, but tooltipping over everything, you can see what you're getting from what. So you sort of can do more complicated analysis from that. Looking right here will show you Okay, so one thing you can see is I have a lot of extra food. The food that you see here is the extra food. Some of my food is being used up by the people on these planets, but I still have 47 extra. And if you look right here, I have a 37% growth bonus. That growth bonus is directly derived from how much extra food I have. So the more, if you have like, an extra 300 food on a planet, you might think to yourself, oh, well, that's a waste of space, I should stop building food improvements. But actually, if you've got more space to fill on any of your planets, you need a lot of extra food to do it rapidly. And then, once you have your maximum population, there's actually a technology way over here, at the very end of the science tech tree, that will convert all of your extra food into pure production. And production can then be turned into science or dust. So really, you want a lot of food throughout almost all of the game. And if you ever get to a point where a lot of your systems have extra food and no population growth, you go to this tech tree, and there are several options, like this option right here, that will increase... Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to click that. That will increase the maximum population of your planets. Oh, actually, I think I did need to choose a technology. So, I think I need lava. Oh, I don't have titanium. You know what? Nope, yeah, I have researched it, I just don't have it. That's unfortunate. I would like to have some titanium. Oh, right, I was doing that, actually. Okay. Pilgrims are starting to be wary of me because they see that I'm expanding too much and too near them. See, they're suspicious, which is, oh, basically I think that my overall score in the game is much higher than theirs, and so they're jealous. Yeah, they're the lowest score in the game, and I am the fourth highest. Okay, so here you can see the Cravers are already sending scouts in and trying to blockade my planets, trying to stop me from building ships. Which is their right. I mean, they can do what they want. But I'm not gonna take this line down, so to speak. I think I'm gonna start a war with them right away. Of course, Thea would be a much easier foe. No, these Cravers have better resources. Alright, so I think I'll end the game here. Or at least this video portion of the game. If you have any questions, feel free to post it on YouTube here, and I'll try and answer them either in the next video or on that page. Thanks for watching.